Welcome back to CBS This Morning. We got a full table. We're going to get right to it. The fight against teen vaping and flavored e-cigarettes just got a $160 million boost. Bloomberg Philanthropies revealed this morning that it's funding a new program aimed at ending the epidemic. The Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids will coordinate the push. This follows a new study that found flavor was the reason most young adults said they started using e-cigarettes. First on CBS This Morning, Bloomberg LP and Bloomberg Philanthropies founder Michael Bloomberg and the president of the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, Matthew Myers, join us. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
What a frightening mess we find ourselves in when it comes to e-cigarettes.
All the progress we've made in reducing teen smoking in particular is being turned around because the kids like the flavor in the vaping products, and they're not people giving up smoking. They're not people that ever smoked before. This is a whole new group that's getting themselves addicted to nicotine. And in one pod that you use in a vape, it's the equivalent of all the nicotine in a whole pack of cigarettes.
You call this in an op-ed an urgent health crisis and say tobacco companies are behind it.
Oh, there's no question about that. They're advertising to kids. They run these enormous ads every day in the paper saying, we'll help you stop smoking. But they've never released any evidence whatsoever that it does anything to help you stop smoking. In fact, most people that vape never smoked before.
Well, the timeline for them to reveal that evidence would be 2020 when the FDA has a deadline for...
But kids are dying. People are dying now and getting addicted. The timeline is yesterday, not tomorrow.
You blame the FDA for this?
The timeline was before they put it on the marketplace. They shouldn't be experimenting with the entire American public. What we know is these products are addicting millions of kids, and we have no scientific evidence submitted to the FDA whatsoever that they're actually effective at helping smokers quit.
Do you blame the FDA?
The FDA has a role. It was too slow to regulate, and once it began to regulate, it pushed off the deadline. Had FDA kept the deadline for submitting product review, we would know much more about what's in these products, and we'd know whether the flavors they add not only help addict kids, but maybe the cause of some of the problems we're seeing recently.
I would add yes is the answer to your question. Okay. You don't let the public let the public do something while the science says it's probably bad for you and you're in the middle of conducting research. Wait until you do the research. If it's fine, no problem, no harm, no foul.
I'm curious why you say that the science says it's probably bad for you, because one of the more perplexing things about this whole issue is Public Health England, England's version of the CDC, they say that e-cigarettes are 95 to 98% safer than traditional cigarettes.
Yeah, well, so does Wilbur Ross. So, come on. I mean, let's get serious
England
here.
is Wilbur Ross?
Okay.
Well, it's bad science, but the most important thing to understand is in this country, we have 3.6 million kids who are using these products. Over a quarter of them are addicted. Most of them would never have used any tobacco product. We know that heavy doses of nicotine for those young people increases their risk of disease, increases their risk of smoking in the future, and has a long-term harmful effect on their developing brain. So this isn't a question of that sort of comparison. What we know is for our young people who would never have used any product, this product is harmful.
Just think if your kid was doing this and winds up with an IQ 10 or 15 points lower than he or she would have had for the rest of her life.
Is that demonstrated?
The science shows that it has a negative impact on brain development. It's hard to measure those kinds of things. What we do know is there's no question. Young people are highly sensitive to nicotine. It makes it more likely that they'll suffer lifelong addictions, and it makes it more likely that they'll go on to smoke cigarettes. We had seen cigarette smoking among our kids plummet to all-time low until Juul was introduced.
Has it reversed it, or what?
And over the last 3 years, we've made, for the first time in a very long time, we've made no progress in reducing cigarette smoking.
But it hasn't gone up.
It hasn't gone up, but
the decline has stopped.
The decline has stopped, and the number of kids who are using nicotine-based products is higher than it has been at any time since 2004.
So
that's a problem.
Matt and Mr. Mayor, how do you intend to spend the money, and what will be your definition of success?
Well, campaigns, you got to explain to people what's going on. You don't want the mistake we make in government all the time is to tell people what to do. That doesn't work. You have to explain to people why it is in their interest to do something, like not run the risk, even if you don't believe that it's going to happen. There's no reason to run a risk that can damage your health for the rest of your life until the science is complete. And I find it absolutely inconceivable that the state governments are pushing, both with this and other products that are addictive, people to go and use it now, and then we'll worry about it later on.
Your goal is to ban all flavored e-cigarettes.
Yeah.
And you think you can cut usage by a third in these targeted areas?
All of the evidence shows that the kids like the flavors. That's the reason they do it when you talk to them. They don't smoke the products that don't have the flavors.
You know, if you eliminate mint in mango, you can pretty well be sure that you're going to see a dramatic decline in youth use of these products. And if we can do that, it's a very first and important step. And it has become even more urgent with all the recent evidence that shows that some people are suffering very severe respiratory diseases. We don't know what's causing it, but we do know that if we dramatically cut the number of kids who start, we reduce
And the
risk.
papers are
Mr.
full
Mayor,
of
we can't let
stories.
you
The
leave.
Federal
We're-
Trade Commission says stop all these advertisements.
Mr. Mayor, time is running out. We can't let you leave without getting your take on the political climate today. You know, at one
Is there
point,
anything going on?
oh, Mr. Mayor got jokes. At one point, you had considered running. We know that you decided not to do that. Anybody who has caught your eye, I know it's very early on. I know people are still making their cases. But who are you? Anybody that you're looking at thinking, I like what they're saying?
Well, I'll look at it down the road. At the moment, my job is to stay out of it and let people that want to run, which I decided not to, express themselves and tell what things they would do if they got elected. I don't think it's any secret. Joe Biden's been a friend of mine for many, many years, played golf together, did a lot of things together when he was vice president. But I'll see. There are some attractive candidates.
Are you sitting here going, I wish I had done it?
No, I never think back. There was not a road for me when Joe was in the race to get through because we would have split the votes. And why not just stand up and say no?
But Matt, you were telling me in the green room, under Mike Bloomberg's tenure, what happened to life expectancy in this city?
I was going to say, you want an example of somebody who makes a difference. When he was the mayor of New York, life expectancy in New York City rose actually over 3 years.
I'll take it.
It became longer than throughout the rest of the country. So if you want to know what happens when you encourage good health practices and protect your citizens, you can make a difference.
And if you love somebody, get them to move to New York, and they will.
And we will pay taxes here, and they will fix our potholes.
No, but it's serious. On average, can't guarantee anyone, but on average, they will live better. Unfortunately,
expensive.
as Gayle and I were talking earlier,
What can you do about real estate costs?
Yeah, really.
since World
Yes, I was
War
gonna
I,
say.
life expectancy in the United States has gone down 3 years in a row. It's the first time since World War I. A lot of drugs, a lot of reasons why.
Now, Mr. Mayor, if you could just do something about housing prices. It
Yes.
costs 2 arms, a legs, and a spleen to live in this city that we all love so much, but we got to go.
Yeah.
Good to have you
Thank
both.
you,
Good to have you
gentlemen.
both.
Appreciate it.
Michael Bloomberg and Matthew Myers.